I was proud last year to announce that the Rhode Island pension system will no longer invest in manufacturers of assault weapons because the data is clear that mass shootings are far more deadly when military-style weapons are used. So, in that spirit of the courage that other states have shown, that the legislative leaders and our constitutional officers have shown, that the advocates who show up again and again and again in the face of intimidation have shown, and especially the survivors and the family members who have to come up here and relive the worst moments of their lives again and again and again and beg for their government to do what Massachusetts and Connecticut and all these other states have done in protecting them and their neighbors and their kids from a similar fate. In that spirit of courage, I want to thank everyone for turning out. Let's make this the year that we finally pass these bills. And I want to recognize another courageous leader, my state senator, a champion for common sense gun safety, Senator Gail Goldman. Gail.
Thank you so much. It was December 6, 1989. I was in my first year of college at McGill University in Montreal. As I stood outside the library, about to go in and start studying for my end of semester exams, I heard news. Just down the street at the École Polytechnique at the Université de Montreal, a shooter had walked into an engineering classroom, dismissed the 50 male students, and started shooting at women, yelling that he was fighting feminism. Over the course of the next few minutes, he murdered 17 women and wounded 17 more students. The Canadian government took swift action, making sweeping changes to gun laws, including banning high-capacity magazines. Limiting the sale of high-capacity magazines in Canada did not end ammunition sales or gun ownership, but it has saved lives. Prohibiting high-capacity magazines and the sale of assault weapons can help save lives right here in Rhode Island too. Data shows it. Our constituents know it, and a majority of the Senate are co-sponsors of this bill because they know it too. 23 years and 1 week later, after the École Polytechnique massacre in Montreal, a shooter entered an elementary school in Connecticut. I remember that day so clearly too. My kids were in 3rd and 6th grade. The mom of one of my youngest son's friends called to see if he could come over to play after school. I told her yes, of course, but I needed to see him first, make sure he was okay, and give him a hug. Grateful that my own children were safe that day, and I knew everything would change. An entire generation of children have grown up doing active shooter drills in schools that are locked, except for the front door. Let me say that again. An entire generation has grown up doing active shooter drills because they are afraid of what might happen in those schools. These children are taught how to escape a classroom, hide under a desk, stay silent, how to block a door in an instant. And since 2018, after the massacre of Jews in a Pennsylvania synagogue, my whole family and families just like ours have had to pray in synagogues that are locked and protected by the police. I am furious that my children have grown up in a world where escaping death by a shooter is part of their education and part of their religion. Especially because we know we can take action, and we can take action now to create a safer world. You know, I joined the Senate shortly after the Sandy Hook massacre and have been sponsoring gun safety bills ever since. And in that same time, there has been a mass shooting in this country almost every single week, including right here in Rhode Island. Just a couple of weeks ago, a shooting happened on a playground less than a mile away from my house, and I live right there. So it's probably less than a mile away from where we are right now. We limit the capacity of magazines used to hunt ducks and deer in our state, but we do not afford our children the same protections. The bills that we have introduced to ban high-capacity magazines and assault weapons are in line with the laws in other states, especially Massachusetts and Connecticut. And for years, we have held these bills in committee. And I have given speeches like this over and over again, as we have heard from parents and doctors and police officers and mayors and children and mental health providers and teachers, all imploring us to take action. And as you've heard today, we have been joined by all 5 of our general office holders and a couple of our mayors, making sure you all know that there's a whole lot of us who believe it's time to get not just one of these bills passed, not just 2 of these bills passed, but all of these bills passed. And I'm talking today about several bills, not just my bill to ban high-capacity magazines, but bills sponsored by Senator Seveny and Senator Miller, who were here earlier today. And on behalf of the majority of the Senate who are co-sponsors of this bill, I'd like to thank our office holders and the mayors and the advocates who have been standing with us and are here with us today. It is time that these bills move out of Judiciary Committee and onto the Senate and House floors. We have held them long enough. We have studied them long enough. How many more lives must be lost in this country before Rhode Island decides to take action? I'd also like to thank several of my Senate colleagues who are here today who have been co-sponsors and are fighting alongside me to get these bills to the floor. And that includes Senator Seveny and Senator Miller, Senator Cano, Senator Acosta Valverde, Anderson, and Murray, who are all here today, along with many others who believe that now is the time. Thank you.